The rain-slicked streets of Seattle blurred past the clinic window as Michael clutched the paper in his trembling hand. The words HIV positive searing into his vision like a brand. He had come here alone, on a whim after that nagging cough and the unexplained fatigue, whispering prayers to a God he had long abandoned. But as the diagnosis sank in, his phone buzzed once, twice, text from Alex, his boyfriend of 2 years, saying he was running an errand and would be home late. The kind of vague lie that tasted like ash even before Michael knew the truth. Michael stared at the clinic wall, the sterile white mocking him with its false promise of cleanliness, as if anything could wash away the invisible enemy now coursing through his veins. He was 28, with a life pieced together from freelance graphic design gigs and late-night sketches in their cramped Capitol Hill apartment, where the scent of Alex's morning coffee still lingered on the pillows. They had met at a queer art walk in Fremont 2 years ago, under strings of fairy lights that danced like fireflies against the summer dusk. Alex's easy laugh cutting through the crowd as he complimented Michael's portfolio, a series of bold, abstract prints capturing the raw pulse of Seattle's underground scene. From that night, it had been a whirlwind, stolen kisses in Pike Place market alleys, weekend hikes up to Rattlesnake Ledge where they'd collapse into each other's arms, breathless from the climb and the heat building between them. Alex, with his warm brown eyes and that perpetual 5 o'clock shadow that Michael loved to trace with his fingertips, had become his anchor in a city that felt both vast and suffocating. But now, as the fluorescent lights hummed overhead, Michael felt unmoored. The doctor, a kind-faced woman named Dr. Elena Vasquez, with a rainbow pin on her lapel, had slid the results across the desk gently, her voice steady as she outlined the next steps: antiretrovirals, regular check-ins, a support group starting next week at the local LGBTQ+ center. "You're not alone in this, Michael," she said, her words meant to comfort but landing like distant thunder. He nodded numbly, signing forms he barely read, his mind replaying fragments of their life together. Last Christmas, Alex had surprised him with a custom leather-bound sketchbook, engraved with "For the artist who colors my world." They had made love by the tree's glow, the city's holiday lights twinkling outside their frost-laced window, whispering promises of forever in the quiet hours after. He stepped out into the relentless drizzle, the Pacific Northwest gray wrapping around him like a shroud. Seattle's streets were alive with the usual rhythm, baristas calling orders at the corner cafe, tech workers huddled under umbrellas en route to Amazon's glass towers, a street musician strumming a melancholic cover of Black Hole Sun on his guitar. Michael pulled up his hood, the results folded into his jacket pocket, and started the walk home, 13 blocks uphill, each step heavier than the last. His phone buzzed again, this time a photo from Alex, a selfie in front of a familiar Victorian house in Queen, and the one with the wraparound porch and climbing ivy. Helping Jordan with some boxes. "Miss you already, Jordan." Alex's ex, the architect who had designed half the trendy lofts dotting the skyline, the one whose shadow had lingered in their early days like a ghost Michael pretended not to see. Michael's stomach twisted, a sharp pang that had nothing to do with the virus. He remembered the stories Alex had shared over late-night takeout from that Thai place on Broadway. Jordan, the first love, the one who had introduced him to the city's hidden speakeasies and rooftop parties. The one who had shattered their 5-year run with a confession of wandering eyes and a sudden move to Portland. They had stayed friends, or so Alex insisted, the kind of loose boundary that Michael had chalked up to maturity, to the open-hearted ethos of their community. But seeing that photo now, Alex's arm slung casually around Jordan's shoulder in the frame, both of them grinning with wine glasses in hand. It felt like a crack in the foundation he had trusted. By the time he reached their building, a converted warehouse with exposed brick and creaky elevators, Michael's legs burned from the incline. He fumbled with his keys, the door swinging open to the familiar chaos, Alex's running shoes kicked off by the mat. Michael's sketch pads stacked on the coffee table amid half-empty mugs of chamomile tea. The apartment smelled of rain-soaked earth and the lavender candle they lit on tough days. He collapsed onto the couch, the results paper crinkling in his fist, and let the tears come, silent at first, then racking sobs that shook his frame. How do you tell the man you love that your body is betraying you? That the future you dreamed of, adopting a rescue dog, maybe opening a small gallery together, now carried a shadow? Hours blurred. The clock ticked past 9, then 10. Michael texted back a simple, "Okay, love you," his thumb hovering over the send button before pressing it. The lie of normalcy, a fragile shield. He showered, the hot water scalding his skin as if it could burn away the truth. Then curled up in bed with his laptop, scrolling through forums on POZ.com. Stories of men who had thrived, loved fiercely despite the diagnosis. It was a lifeline, thin but real, reminding him that survival was possible. Yet doubt gnawed. What if Alex couldn't handle it? What if this was the fracture that finally broke them? The door finally clicked open around midnight. Alex's voice calling out softly, "Babe, you up?" Michael wiped his face, forcing a smile as Alex appeared in the doorway. Hair tousled, cheeks flushed from the chill, or something else. He smelled faintly of Jordan's cologne, that spicy cedar blend Michael had always hated. Rough day at the office, Alex lied smoothly, kicking off his boots and sliding into bed beside him. Michael turned into his embrace, breathing in the familiarity, the steady thrum of Alex's heart against his cheek. "Yeah," he murmured, the paper hidden under the mattress like a secret bomb. "Me too." In the days that followed, Michael navigated the numbness like a fog-shrouded hike. He started the meds as prescribed, tiny blue pills swallowed with orange juice each morning, their bitterness a daily ritual. Work became a blur of client revisions for a startup's rebrand, his designs sharper somehow, edged with the rawness of unspoken grief. He avoided mirrors, afraid of seeing accusation in his own eyes. But Seattle's reflective puddles caught him anyway, a young man with hollow cheeks, carrying the weight of worlds unseen. Alex noticed the quiet, of course. Over dinner at their favorite spot, a dimly lit bistro in Belltown where the pasta was al dente and the wine poured generous. He reached across the table, lacing their fingers. "You've been distant. Michael, talk to me." The candlelight flickered in Alex's eyes, warm and searching, and for a moment, Michael almost spilled it all: the clinic, the fear, the way his body felt like a stranger's now. But then Alex's phone lit up with a text from Jordan. "Thanks for the help last week. Dinner soon," and the words died on Michael's tongue. "Just tired," he said instead, forcing a laugh. "Freelance life. You know, they made love that night. Slow and tender. Alex's hands mapping Michael's skin as if committing it to memory. In the afterglow, tangled in sheets that smelled of salt and sweat, Michael traced the scar on Alex's collarbone, a remnant from a biking accident in his college days, and wondered how many secrets lay beneath the surface. Seattle's skyline glittered outside, a constellation of lights promising connection in isolation. But Michael felt the chasm widening. He had always believed love was the antidote to everything. But now, with HIV's shadow lengthening, he questioned if it could hold. As autumn deepened, the leaves turning to fiery reds along the arboretum paths where they walked hand in hand on Sundays, Michael began journaling, pages filled with sketches of fractured hearts, veins like rivers poisoned at the source. He attended his first support group at the center, a converted church basement with mismatched chairs and instant coffee, where men like him shared stories under the banner of resilience. There was Marcus, a burly ex-firefighter from Tacoma with a laugh like thunder, who had been positive for a decade and still ran marathons, and Theo, a twinkish barista barely 22, whose optimism bordered on defiance. Their words wove a tentative safety net. "Disclosure is power," Marcus said, clapping Michael's shoulder. "But timing is yours." Yet timing eluded him. Alex's errands with Jordan multiplied, helping with a remodel, grabbing drinks to catch up, each one a splinter under Michael's skin. He started noticing the late nights, the way Alex's gaze drifted during conversations, as if chasing echoes of what once was. One evening, after a particularly grueling client call, Michael confronted the mirror in their bathroom, steam from the shower fogging the glass. "Tell him," he whispered to his reflection, the hazel eyes staring back defiant. But doubt crept in. What if Alex ran? What if the man who had vowed to weather storms left at the first real gale? The breaking point came on a crisp October Saturday, the kind where Seattle's air crisp with the promise of winter. Michael had planned a surprise, tickets to a queer theater production downtown, followed by oysters at Elliott's. But as he dressed, crisp white shirt tucked into dark jeans, a spritz of cologne for luck, his phone rang. It was Dr. Vasquez's office, a follow-up on blood work. "Everything's stable," the nurse assured. "Keep up the regimen." Relief washed over him, mingled with resolve. Tonight, he would tell Alex. They would face it together, rebuild from the ashes. He arrived at the theater early, the marquee glowing with a normal heart, a revival that hit too close to home. The streets buzzed with pre-show energy, couples linking arms, friends spilling from pubs. Michael texted Alex, "Here. Can't wait." No reply. Minutes ticked by. At intermission, 40 minutes late, he stepped out for air, dialing Alex's number. It rang, then voicemail. A prickle of unease led him to check their shared location app, a habit from paranoid early days. The pin dropped, Jordan's house in Queen Anne. Heart pounding, Michael hailed a rideshare, the city lights streaking like tears. The Victorian loomed as the car pulled up, warm glow spilling from the windows, laughter filtering through the rain. He paid the driver and approached, feet leaden, peering through the half-drawn curtains. There was Alex, on the couch with Jordan, a bottle of red between them, heads close in conversation. Then Jordan leaned in, and Alex didn't pull away. Their lips met, soft at first, then deepening with a hunger that twisted the knife in Michael's chest. He turned away, vomiting into the gutter, the rain mingling with his sobs. Back in the Uber, the results paper fell from his pocket, sodden and ruined. He didn't go home. Instead, he wandered to the waterfront, the Ferris wheel's lights mocking his solitude. and sat on a bench until dawn, whispering to the sound, "How do I love you now?" The ferry horn blared across Elliott Bay as Michael boarded the early boat to Bainbridge Island, fleeing the mainland's weight like a man pursued by shadows. It was dawn, the sky a bruised purple streaked with gold, and he clutched a styrofoam coffee from the terminal, its bitterness grounding him against the nausea roiling inside. He had spent the night on that bench, replaying the kiss in his mind's eye, a betrayal etched in slow motion, until exhaustion claimed him in fitful dozes. Now, with the city receding, he sought refuge in the island's quiet trails, a place they had once picnicked with cheese and cheap champagne. Alex's head in his lap as gulls wheeled overhead. Bainbridge unfolded like a balm, rolling hills dotted with wineries, the air scented with damp evergreens and salt. Michael rented a bike at the dock, pedaling furiously along the waterfront path, the wind whipping tears from his eyes. His phone stayed silent, no calls from Alex, no frantic texts. Part of him ached for the confrontation, the raw spill of truths, but fear held him back. How do you confess a life-altering diagnosis to someone already entangled in another's arms? He stopped at an overlook, the Olympics rising majestic in the distance, and pulled out his journal, pages fluttering in a breeze. He sketched the scene, jagged peaks like broken promises, a lone figure dwarfed by the vastness. Flashback tugged him under as he sat there, the bike propped against a fence. It had been spring when they met, cherry blossoms carpeting Fremont streets in pink confetti. Michael, fresh from a breakup with a flighty musician named Riley who had ghosted him mid-tour, had thrown himself into the art walk to reclaim his spark. His booth featured vibrant collages, queer icons reimagined in neon hues. Harvey Milk with a crown of thorns, Marsha P. Johnson rising from ripples of the Hudson. Alex had wandered up, craft beer in hand, his flannel shirt rolled to the elbows, revealing forearms dusted with dark hair. "These are killer," he said, pointing to a piece of two men entwined in a storm cloud. "Remind me of that feeling, loving through the chaos." They talked for hours, the crowd thinning as night fell. Alex was a marketer for a sustainable coffee brand, commuting from his Queen and rental, single after Jordan's abrupt exit 6 months prior. He said he needed space to find himself. Alex confessed over slices of pizza from a food truck, grease staining their fingers. But really, it was the open relationship talk he bailed on. "I wasn't ready for that." Michael nodded, sharing his own scars, growing up in a conservative suburb outside Spokane, coming out at 17 to parents who loved him fiercely but awkwardly, mailing care packages of homemade jerky and "we love you anyway" cards. "Seattle saved me," he said. "This city, it breathes queer." By summer's heat, they were inseparable. Alex moved into Michael's apartment that July, boxes of vinyl records and vintage teas cluttering the space. They explored the city's underbelly, dive bars in Pioneer Square, where drag queens lip-synced to Madonna, pride parades that shut down the viaduct in a riot of rainbows. One night, after a show at Numos, they stumbled home, buzzed on gin and adrenaline, collapsing against the door in a frenzy of hands and mouths. "I think I'm falling," Alex gasped as Michael pinned him to the wall, shirts discarded in a heap. "Good," Michael replied, heart hammering. "Because I'm already there." Their love deepened in the mundane. Grocery runs to PCC where they debate organic kale versus conventional spinach. Movie marathons of Brokeback Mountain reruns that left them tangled and tear-streaked. Alex's vulnerability shone through. Nights when old insecurities surfaced. Jordan's ghost whispering doubts. "He was my first everything," Alex admitted once. Curled against Michael's side during a power outage. Candles flickering like confessions. "But you mine now." "My future." Michael held him tighter, vowing silently to chase those shadows away. Yet cracks had formed subtly, like Seattle's famous fault lines. Jordan's return from Portland last winter, post his own messy divorce, brought innocent coffees that stretched into afternoons. Michael trusted Alex's assurances, its closure. "Babe," even his jealousy simmered low. He threw himself into work, landing a contract for a queer nonprofits campaign. His designs evoking resilience in bold lines and soft gradients. Success buoyed him, but the fatigue crept in unnoticed at first. Headaches during deadlines. Chills on warm evenings. Stress, he dismissed to Alex's concerned glances. A routine checkup in August revealed low T cells, prompting the full test. Just to rule things out, the doctor said. Michael hadn't worried until the call. Pedaling back toward the ferry, Michael's thighs burned, mirroring the ache in his chest. He docked the bike and boarded, the vessel cutting through choppy waters as his phone finally vibrated. A voicemail from Alex. "Michael, where are you? I came home to an empty bed." "Call me, I'm worried." The plea twisted the knife deeper. He deleted it, powering off the device. On the mainland, he cabbed to a motel in Ballard, a no-frills spot with threadbare quilts and a neon sign buzzing vacancy. He paid cash, requesting a room with a view of the ship canal, where locks hummed mechanically, boats rising and falling like his moods. Sleep evaded him that night, the paper-thin walls amplifying a couple's murmurs next door. Michael paced, replaying the theater betrayal, Alex's hand on Jordan's knee, the ease of their laughter. Rage bubbled, hot and unfamiliar. He had always been the steady one, the forgiver. Now, with HIV's weight, forgiveness felt like surrender. Dawn brought clarity. He needed space, not explosion. He emailed his clients a vague, personal emergency, then drove, borrowing a friend's old Subaru, to the Olympic Peninsula, where rainforests swallowed secrets. Hiking the soul-dug trails, ferns brushing his calves, Michael breathed deep the mossy air. A fallen log became his confessional, words pouring onto journal pages, the terror of transmission fears, the irony of testing alone while Alex sought solace elsewhere. "Why now?" he scrawled, ink smudging with raindrops. Birds called overhead, indifferent witnesses. By evening, camped under a tarp strung between trees, he built a fire, flames dancing like the fairy lights of their first night. Marshmallows charred on a stick. He toasted to survival, his own, unspoken yet. Back in Seattle 3 days later, the city felt alien, its coffee shops and crosswalks mocking his isolation. He returned to the apartment under cover of dusk, finding it untouched save for a note on the fridge. "Please come home. I love you." Hey, Alex's cologne lingered faintly. A ghost. Michael packed a duffel, essentials, his sketchbook, meds, and left a reply. "Need time. Don't follow." He crashed at Marcus's from the group, a cozy bungalow in Georgetown filled with model ships and cat hair. "Stay as long as you need," Marcus rumbled, pouring whiskey neat. Over mugs by the hearth, Michael unburdened the diagnosis, the words tumbling free at last. Marcus listened, then pulled him into a bear hug. "Brother, that's your power now. Own it. Empowered." Michael attended group twice weekly, Theo's quips lightening the load. "Honey, HIV doesn't define us. It just adds plot twists." He started volunteering at the center, designing flyers for testing drives, his art channeling pain into purpose. Alex's texts piled up, apologies, pleas, professions of undying love, but Michael read them sparingly, each a reminder of the chasm. Winter crept in, holidays looming like storm clouds. Michael opted for solitude. A quiet solstice with friends at a potluck in Finney Ridge, roasted chestnuts, carols twisted queer, laughter echoing off timber beams. No Alex, though his absence echoed. As snow dusted the Space Needle, visible from the window, Michael sketched a new piece, two figures bridging a divide, one reaching through fog. Hope flickered, fragile as first light. But fate, that capricious Seattle sprite, had other plans. A mutual friend, Lena, a tattoo barista with a penchant for meddling, texted, heard from Alex. "He's a mess. Jordan's out of the picture. But..." "Talk to him." Michael stared at the screen, heart stuttering. The motel kiss replayed. But so did their joys, the way Alex's laugh crinkled his eyes, the promises etched in skin. He replied, "Soon." The peninsula called again, but this time for reflection, not escape. On New Year's Eve, under a canopy of stars unmarred by city glow, he whispered to the wind, "Forgive or forget." The Olympic rain forest dripped like a weeping widow as Michael trudged the trail to Lake Crescent, boots sinking into mud that clung like regret. It was early January, the holidays a fresh scar, and he had come here to mourn what might have been their third anniversary, marked by silence instead of celebration. The lake shimmered turquoise under overcast skies, a mirror to his turmoil, and he sat on a boulder, skipping stones that plunked into the depths. Each ripple spread, distorting his reflection, a man changed, etched with lines of worry, but standing taller somehow, the meds steadying his viral load like an invisible scaffold. Back in the city the next day, Seattle's pulse resumed its indifferent thrum, ferries chugging across the sound, baristas slinging lattes with foam hearts. Michael dove into routine, his freelance schedule packed with a passion project, a graphic novel pitch about queer survival in the AIDS era, inspired by group stories. Pages filled with inked narratives, lovers separated by stigma, heroes rising from hospital beds. It was catharsis, his pencil a scalpel carving truth from pain. At the center, Theo pulled him aside one afternoon, eyes sparkling over a counter of free condoms and pamphlets. "You're glowing? Mish." "Spill, what's the tea?" Michael hesitated, then confessed the standoff with Alex. Theo whistled low. "Drama alert. But listen, that man's been blowing up our group chat. Lena says he's volunteering here now, sorting donations like a penitent monk." Surprise flickered Alex, the marketer who hated manual labor. "Humbling himself?" "He asked about you," Theo added. "Didn't push. Just wanted to know you're okay." The gesture warmed, a crack in the ice. But Michael held back. "Not yet," he said. "I need to be whole first." Evenings brought solitude's sharp edge. He cooked solo in the apartment, now his alone, sublet to him by a sympathetic landlord, stirring risotto while jazz crooned from the radio, Coltrane's saxophone weaving melancholy threads. Memories ambushed. Alex's clumsy attempts at chopping garlic. Fingers nicked and bandaged with kisses. One night, buzzed on a glass of Pinot from the Columbia Valley, Michael scrolled old photos, candid shots from their road trip to the San Juans, wind-tousled and grinning on ferry decks. Tears blurred the screen, but anger followed. How could you? When I needed you most. The confrontation brewed inevitably. It happened at the center's annual gala, a fundraiser in a converted warehouse loft downtown, strung with Edison bulbs and tables laden with local charcuterie. Michael attended as a volunteer, manning the silent auction with his prints on display. The room hummed, donors in tailored suits, performers lip-syncing to Dancing Queen, air thick with perfume and purpose. He was laughing with Marcus over a bid war on a donated spa package when Alex appeared at the edge of the crowd, hesitant in a navy blazer and slacks, holding 2 flutes of sparkling cider. Their eyes met across the space, time folding like origami. Alex approached slowly, as if navigating minefield. "Michael," he breathed, voice rough. "You look incredible." Flattery landed flat, but the raw plea in his gaze, red-rimmed, shadowed, stirred something. "Alex," Michael replied evenly, setting down his clipboard. "What are you doing here?" Alex swallowed. "Supporting. And hoping." "Can we talk?" "Please." They stepped on a fire escape. The city's neon sprawl below, a glittering distraction. Rain pattered on the metal stairs, a soft percussion to their words. Alex spoke first. Torrent unleashed. The kiss with Jordan, a drunken lapse after a vulnerable call from his ex, spiraling into old patterns. It meant nothing, he insisted, hand gesturing wildly. A moment of weakness. I've cut him off, blocked. Everything. But you vanishing. It gutted me. Michael leaned against the railing, arms crossed, the cool air biting through his shirt. While I sat in that clinic, getting the news that upended my world, you were there. With him. Alex's face crumpled. "What news?" "Michael, talk to me." The dam broke then. Words cascading. The test. The isolation. The terror of disclosure. Alex listened, horror dawning, then pulled Michael into a crushing embrace. "God, babe, I'm so sorry. HIV, we'll fight this together. Doctors, whatever it takes." But Michael stiffened, pulling back. "Fight? You weren't even fighting for us." The accusation hung, sharp as winter frost. Alex's eyes welled. "I know. I fucked up. But I love you still. Always." Silence stretched, broken only by distant traffic. Michael searched his face, seeing the boy from the art walk, the man who had held him through migraines and doubts. "I believe you," he said finally. "But trust. That shattered glass takes time to mend." They parted with a tentative hug, Alex's lips brushing his temple. "I'll wait," he whispered. However long. Michael returned to the gala, the music swelling like a heartbeat. But the encounter lingered, a seed of possibility planted in barren soil. Weeks blurred into a fragile truce. Alex respected boundaries, no unannounced visits. Just daily texts, memes to coax smiles, updates on his therapy sessions with a counselor specializing in queer relationships. Working on my shit, he wrote. For us. If you'll have me. Michael read them in coffee shops along 15th Avenue. Steam rising from mugs as he sketched revisions to his novel. Group became sanctuary. Marcus's wisdom a compass. Forgiveness ain't forgetting, it's choosing forward. Spring teased Seattle with tentative blooms, daffodils pushing through soil in Discovery Park, where Michael walked daily. Hug from a neighbor trotting alongside. One afternoon, Theo joined him, their chatter turning confessional. My ex bailed when I tested positive, Theo shared, tossing a stick into the surf. Said he couldn't handle the drama, but look at me, thriving. Michael nodded. The word to mirror. Alex wants back in. Part of me does too. Theo grinned. Then test the waters. Boo. Life's too short for what-ifs. The test came subtly, a joint art opening in Soto. Michael's novel pitch illustrated in a pop-up exhibit. Alex showed, buying the first print, a couple silhouetted against a stormy Puget Sound. This is us, he said softly at the after-party. A dimly lit speakeasy with velvet booths. They talked till closing. Laughter tentative but real. Hands brushing over shared appetizers. As the bartender called last call, Alex leaned in. Dinner? Just us. Michael hesitated, then nodded. Saturday. Our spot in Belltown. The date unfolded like a rehearsal, oysters shucked fresh. Wine decanted with care. Conversation flowed, work triumphs. Group anecdotes. The novel's progress. Under the table, Alex's foot nudged his, a spark long dormant. Walking home along the waterfront, fairy lights winking. Michael stopped under a street lamp. I'm scared, he admitted. Of letting you in, of hoping again. Alex cupped his face, thumb tracing his jaw. Me too. But I'm here for the long haul. Their kiss was tentative, tasting of salt and second chances. Rain misting their skin. Yet doubt whispered. That night, alone in bed, Michael dreamed of clinics and betrayals, waking sweat slicked. He started couples counseling referrals, dipping a toe. Alex agreed eagerly. Their first session in a sunlit office overlooking the market. Unpacking the kiss's roots, Jordan's flattery feeding Alex's insecurities. A cycle born in their shared history. I chose comfort over courage, Alex owned. Michael shared the isolation's toll. The way HIV had forced self-reckoning. It made me stronger, he said. But vulnerable too, as cherry blossoms returned. So did intimacy, in layers. Coffee dates evolved to park picnics. Hands held unapologetically. One evening, in the apartment's glow, Alex knelt by the couch, head in Michael's lap. Move back, he asked. Michael stroked his hair, weighing the risk. Soon, he promised. But shadows loomed. A routine checkup revealed medication side effects. Nausea, vivid dreams, and old fears resurfaced. What if it changes us? He voiced in group. Marcus clapped his back. It will. But change ain't the enemy, stagnation is. Summer beckoned. Pride Month electric in the air. Michael committed. Let's try. Alex hooped, spinning him in the kitchen. But as festivals loomed, a letter arrived, Jordan, via mail. A closure note dripping regret. Alex showed it immediately, then burned it in the sink. Done, he said. Trust budded, green and tender. Yet the real test awaited, hidden in blood work and unspoken vows. Pride weekend descended on Seattle like a Technicolor fever dream. Rainbow flags snapping from every lamppost along Broadway. The air electric with bass thumps from float speakers and the scent of grilled falafel from street vendors. Michael and Alex wove through the throng, wrists banded in solidarity colors. Their hands clasped a public declaration. It was their first Pride together since the fracture, and Michael felt the weight of eyes, friends cheering their reunion, strangers offering knowing smiles. "You two clean up nice," Lena teased, slinging arms around both as they paused for glitter-dusted selfies. Alex laughed, pulling Michael closer, his warmth a shield against the crowd's crush. But beneath the revelry, tension simmered. Michael's latest labs had come back elevated, liver enzymes strained by the regimen. A reminder that normalcy was a negotiation, not a given. He hadn't shared yet. The joy of the day, too precious to taint. They danced to Charlie XCX remixes on a block street, bodies slick with sweat, Alex's lips on his neck whispering, "I miss this, us." Michael melted into it, the music drowning doubts. But as night fell and the parade dissolved into after-parties, fatigue tugged insistent. "At home," he suggested. Alex nodded, hailing a ride, his thumb tracing circles on Michael's thigh. In the apartment, stripped to boxers amid scattered clothes, they tumbled into bed, urgency building like a summer storm. Alex's mouth trailed fire down Michael's chest, hands reverent on his hips. "Beautiful," he murmured, taking him slow, eyes locked in the dim lamplight. Michael arched, pleasure laced with ache, the intimacy a bridge, but one with tolls. Afterward, tangled and sated, Alex propped on an elbow. "What's been on your mind? You got that faraway look." Michael hesitated, then confessed the labs. Alex's brow furrowed. "We'll switch meds, talk to Vasquez." Team effort, remember? He kissed Michael's forehead, but sleep came fitful, dreams of unraveling threads. Monday brought action, an appointment where Dr. Vasquez adjusted the cocktail, adding a nausea med and scheduling ultrasounds. "It's common," she assured, her rainbow pin glinting. Manageable. Alex waited in the lobby, fidgeting with a magazine, then drove them to lunch at a vegan spot in Fremont, quinoa bowls steaming. "Proud of you," he said, clinking forks. For fighting, gratitude swelled. But so did vulnerability. Michael caught himself scanning Alex's phone when he showered. A habit born of scars. "Trust takes practice," he reminded himself, echoing the counselor's words. Work surged. Michael's graphic novel landed a small publisher, edits flying back and forth in a frenzy of red ink. Alex celebrated with a home-cooked feast, steak from the market. Asparagus charred just right, candlelight dancing on their faces. To plot twists, Alex toasted. Laughter flowed, easy as the Cabernet. And they made plans, a cabin getaway to the Cascades. Just them and the stars. But midweek, a curveball. Jordan emailed Alex's work account, a professional query for a collab. Innocent on surface. Alex forwarded it to Michael immediately. Delete. Michael nodded, but the intrusion stung. A reminder of porous boundaries. Group that Thursday became a sounding board. Theo regaled with a disastrous date. Guy ghosted after I mentioned prep, while Marcus shared a milestone, undetectable for years. U equals U. Brothers. Undetectable equals untransmittable. The acronym landed like permission, lightening Michael's load. Alex and I, we're rebuilding, he shared. Nods rippled. Go slow, an elder advised. Love's a marathon in this community. The getaway arrived like an exhale. They drove east, winding through Snoqualmie Pass, evergreens bowing to their Subaru. The cabin perched on a lake's edge, wood smoke curling from the chimney, stocked with board games and a hot tub bubbling invitingly. Evenings blurred, hikes to waterfalls where mist kissed their skin, evenings by the fire with mores and stories. Alex recounting childhood summers in Montana. Michael his Spokane rebellions, sneaking to all-ages shows. One night, under a meteor shower, they lay on a blanket, Alex's head on Michael's chest. I almost lost this, he whispered. Never again. Michael stroked his hair. We're here now. Intimacy deepened, barriers crumbling. In the hot tub, steam rising like desire, Alex knelt in the water, taking Michael with a devotion that bordered worship. I love every part of you, he said, voice husky. Michael came undone, waves lapping their sides, the stars witnesses to reclamation. But dawn brought reality, a voicemail from the publisher, delays on the release. Budget cuts. Michael vented over coffee on the porch, frustration boiling. Alex listened, then suggested, pivot. Make it yours. Wisdom in simplicity. It steadied him. Returning to Seattle, re-entry Jared. Pride's afterglow faded into routine, Alex's late meetings, Michael's deadlines. One evening, cooking pasta, Alex's phone buzzed, a text from an unknown, missed you at the game. Beers soon? Jordan, circling like a shark. Alex showed it instantly, deleting with a sigh. How does he keep slipping through? Michael forced calm. Block the number. All of them. Alex did, but unease lingered. A low hum. It escalated subtly. Alex grew distant, claims of work stress masking something. Michael noticed the extra gym time. The cologne spritzed fresher. Paranoia or pattern? Counseling dug deeper. Codependency roots, the therapist noted. Alex, confront your pull to the familiar. Sessions unearthed Jordan's hold. Not just X, but mirror to Alex's unhealed wounds. The open dynamic that once thrilled, then terrified. Crisis crested mid-August. Heat wave baking the city. Michael came home early, novel proofs in hand, to find Alex on a couch, staring at an old photo album, pages of him and Jordan in Portland, arms linked at craft breweries. Nostalgia trip, Alex explained sheepishly. But Michael's gut twisted. Temptation, the argument ignited, voices rising, accusations flying. You think I'm weak? Alex shot back. I chose you every day. Michael countered with a clinic memory. But not that day. Silence crashed, broken by Alex's tears. I'm terrified of failing you again. Of this us being too much. They slept apart. The bed a chasm. Morning brought olive branches, coffee in bed, apologies scrawled on napkins. Fight for it, Michael urged. Alex nodded, enrolling in a men's group for betrayal patterns. Progress. Incremental. Fall foliage turned the parks to flame as Michael's book launch neared, a reading at Elliott Bay Book Company. Shelves groaning with tomes. Nerves jangled, but Alex's presence steadied, front row, eyes shining. Michael read excerpts, the hero's diagnosis, the lover's lapse, redemption's arc, voice steady. Crowd rapped. Applause thundered. Signings stretched late. Proud doesn't cover it, Alex said later, over whiskey at a nearby lounge. Their kiss in the alley was fierce, reclaiming public space. But winter loomed. Holidays a minefield. Invites poured. Michael's family in Spokane. Alex's in Montana. Together, Alex proposed. Michael agreed. Heart pounding. The drive east was fraught. Snow flurries. Radio static, but arrival warmed. Michael's mom hugging Alex like a son. Jerky and stories shared. Christmas Eve, by the tree, Alex gifted a custom frame, their art walk photo, engraved through chaos. Michael teared up, reciprocating with a pendant, steel, etched you equals you. Our truth. New year brought resolve, a joint vow, weekly check-ins. No ex-contact. Spring bloomed hopeful, but summer tested. Jordan's firm pitched Alex's company, a merger talk. Decline, Michael asked. Alex did, citing conflict. Trust solidified, layer by layer. Yet beneath, a storm gathered, unseen, inevitable. Summer's zenith baked Seattle into a reluctant sun worshiper. Pavement shimmering as Michael and Alex escaped to Alki Beach. Towels spread on pebbled sand. The Olympics, a hazy backdrop across the sound. It was their ritual, picnics of poke bowls and chilled rows. Frisbee tossed till dusk, but this year carried undercurrents. The novel's release a success, spawning interviews. Alex's promotion demanding travel. 2 weeks in Portland, he announced over sandwiches. Gaze averted. Michael nodded, swallowing the irony. Portland, Jordan's old haunt. Call every night, he said lightly. Alex promised, sealing it with a kiss salted by sea air. The separation stretched, nerves taut. Alone, Michael thrived outwardly, book signings at Hugo House, where fans shared their stories. Your book gave me words for my diagnosis. Group leading a workshop on creative outlets for grief. Internally, isolation echoed. Nights, he sketched feverishly. Pages of Alex's profile morphing into fractured portraits. Meds held steady, but anxiety spiked, dreams of abandonment. Waking to empty sheets. Alex's calls came faithful, updates on client dinners. Whispers of missing him. Can't wait to hold you, he'd say. Voice tinny over the line. Michael believed. Mostly. Reunion ignited sparks. Alex returned tanned and tired, sweeping Michael into the airport's throng for a kiss that drew whistles. Home. They devoured each other, slow at first, then urgent against the kitchen counter, dishes clattering to the floor. Needed this, Alex gasped. Hands everywhere. Michael clung, chasing away ghosts. But post-bliss, reality intruded, a bruise on Alex's neck. Faint but fresh. Icky, Michael asked, half joking. Alex flushed. Mosquito bite, hotels infested. Laughter followed, but seed planted. September brought harvest festivals. Apple picking in the Sammamish Valley where they wandered orchards. Baskets heavy with Granny Smiths. Laughter rang true. Plans for fall, a couple's retreat in the San Juans. Yet Alex's phone became a talisman, glanced at furtively during movies, silenced at dinners. Michael confronted gently over cider by the fire pit. Something up? Alex sighed. Work stress. Big pitch coming. reassurance. But Michael's radar pinged. The pitch weekend arrived. Alex to Chicago for a conference. 3 days, he said, packing suits. Michael saw him off at Seattle-Tacoma. Waving to the escalator swallowed him. Solitude descended. Michael hosted a game night with Theo and Marcus. Caton boards and craft beers easing the quiet. But midnight brought a text from an unknown number, saw Alex at the bar. He said hi. Jordan, heart plummeting. Michael scrolled back, Jordan's profile. A recent post geotagged Chicago. A conference badge grinning. Fury boiled. He didn't respond, but sleep fled. Dawn. He drove to Queen and, not Jordan's house, but Neutral Cafe. Waiting. Jordan arrived, summoned by a terse meet me. Now, tall, lean, with architect's precision in his button-down, he slid into the booth. Michael. What's this? Cut the shit, Michael said. Voice steel. Chicago. With Alex. Jordan's eyes widened, then softened. It was last minute, my firm partnered. We talked shop. Nothing more, but his pause betrayed. He mentioned missing you. Struggling with. The changes. Changes? Michael leaned in. My HIV. Jordan nodded uncomfortably. He loves you. But it's heavy. We're just friends, old ones. The word friends landed like acid. Michael stood. Stay away. All the way. He left. Rain starting as he hit the street. Tears mingling. Confrontation with Alex exploded upon return. Airport pickup turned ambush in the terminal garage. Chicago, Michael spat, holding up the screenshot. Alex paled. Babe, it was coincidence, bullshit. Jordan texts me now. Accusations flew, lies layered. Trust eroded. Alex crumbled. I needed a vent. He's safe, familiar. But I swear, no lines crossed. Michael laughed bitterly. Safe? While I'm here. Managing this alone. The garage echoed with sobs. Alex begging. Don't end us. Please. Michael walked away, hailing a cab to the peninsula again. Cabin rented for solace. Days blurred, hikes to Hurricane Ridge, where winds howled his rage, journals filled with rants. Then please. Group via Zoom, betrayal on repeat, he vented. Theo, dump his ass. Marcus, or demand better. He chose the latter. Texting Alex, counseling. Now. Or done. Sessions intensified. A battlefield of truths. Alex admitted the pull, Jordan's ease mirroring his pre-Michael life. Unburdened by illness. I feel guilty loving you through this, he confessed. Michael recoiled. Guilty? That's not love. The therapist mediated boundaries, individual therapy. Alex dove in, journaling his patterns, blocking Jordan fully. Rebuilding crept slow. Fall deepened. Leaves carpeting Gasworks Park where they walked. Hands brushing tentative. I'm all in, Alex vowed. Gifting a custom planner, pages for med reminders. Date nights. Michael accepted. Cautious. Holidays healed fractions. Thanksgiving at Michael's family. Turkey carved with stories. Alex charming with pie baking flair. Winter solstice brought crisis anew. Michael's holiday party, a queer lit crowd in their loft, hummed till a guest. A tipsy poet outed a rumor, heard Alex was spotted with Jordan at a gala. Michael froze. champagne flute cracking in grip. Alex, cornered, swore denial, checked alibis, called the source. False. A mix-up with a look-alike. But damage festered. How many times? Michael whispered that night. Curled away. Alex wept. No more. I choose you. Spring thawed walls. They renewed vows informally, by the lake. Rings exchanged anew. Summer beckoned. But scars itched. Michael's book tour, Portland stop. Jordan City. Alex offered to join. Face it together. They did. Dinner in Pearl District. No ghost sighted. Trust. Fragile rebuilt. Yet autumn winds carried whispers, a letter from Jordan. Intercepted, one drink. For old times, Alex shredded it unread. Showed Michael the pieces. Over. Relief. But vigilance. The true storm broke in November. Rain lashing windows as Michael collapsed, fever spiking. An opportunistic infection from med resistance. Hospital lights glared. IVs dripping. Alex at bedside. Vigil constant. Calling Vasquez. Holding his hand through delirium. Fight. Love, he begged. Michael rallied. Switched regimens. Emerged weaker but wiser. Discharge brought reckoning. You stayed, Michael said. Home in bed. Alex nodded. Tears falling. Always should have. But doubt lingered. Was it love? Or duty? Healing's path wound on. Shadowed. Winter's grip tightened on Seattle like a vice. Icicles daggering from eaves as Michael convalesced in the apartment. Blankets piled high against chills that no heater could banish. The infection, a pneumonia variant. Opportunistic foe, had sidelined him for weeks. Work paused. Novel's sequel shelved. Alex became nurse. Chef. Anchor. Bone broth simmered on the stove. Its earthy steam a comfort. Audiobooks read aloud in gravelly tones. Voices of Octavia Butler weaving escape. You're my warrior, Alex murmured. Spooning soup. His free hand stroking Michael's hair. Gratitude bloomed. But so did wariness, the sickbed a crucible. Testing metal. Recovery inched. Physical therapy in the living room. Alex spotting leg lifts with encouraging grunts. Walks to the corner market. Arm in arm against black ice. Group reconvened virtually at first. Then in person. Michael's return met with hugs and badass cheers. You scared us, Theo said, passing a care package of essential oils. Marcus, this is your origin story now, superhero shit. Stories shared, flares managed. Loves endured. Michael absorbed. His own arc clarifying, the betrayal not endpoint, but pivot to self-reliance. Alex's devotion shone, yet cracks spiderwebbed. Late calls from work. Excuses thin, a forgotten anniversary of their first hike. Chalk to stress. Michael confronted over tea in the bay window. City lights twinkling below. Are you here? Or half out? Alex knelt, eyes earnest. Here. But scared of losing you to this. The this hung, HIV, the invisible third in their bed. Michael sighed. Then talk. Don't retreat. Promise extracted, but follow-through faltered. Spring equinox brought renewal's teas, crocuses piercing soil in Volunteer Park, where they picnicked, croissants flaking on laps. Michael's strength returned, gym sessions resuming, weights lifted with defiant grunts. The sequel outline emerged. Heroes relapse. Partners falter. Communal rise. Alex read drafts. Praise glowing. Raw. Real. They made love in afternoon sun slanting through blinds. Bodies sinking like forgotten melody. But Michael's mind wandered to safeguards, prep talks, boundary lists. Jordan's shadow resurfaced subtly, a mutual friend's wedding invite. RSVPs including him. Skip, Michael asked. Alex agreed, but tension simmered. The event loomed, May, a vineyard in Woodinville. They attended, dressed sharp, Michael's suit tailored post-recovery. Vows exchanged under arbors. Toasts to enduring love. Jordan cornered Alex at the bar. Congrats on the promotion. Drinks? Alex demurred. But Michael saw the linger. The easy banter. Drive home silent. Rain sheeting windshield. Old habits, Alex said. Michael exploded. Habits that nearly killed us. Words weaponized. Clinic. Kiss. Infection. Alex pulled over, sobbing. I hate him for tempting. Me for listening. Michael softened. Hate the pull. Fight it. Therapy doubled down. Role plays for boundary enforcement. Alex practicing no. We're good in mirrors. Progress, a clean month. Then 2. Summer festivals called Folklife on the Ave. Stages alive with fiddles and drums. They danced in crowds. Sweat slicked. Michael's laugh free. Booked tour Redux, California legs. Alex tagging for LA. Beaches at sunset. Hands laced in sand. Whispers of futures, adoption dreams. Gallery openings. Undetectable family, Alex joked. But eyes held hope. Yet August scorched truths bare. Michael's routine check, viral blip. Adherence questioned. Missed doses? Vasquez probed gently. Michael denied. But guilt gnawed, nights when nausea won. Pills skipped. Alex noticed the pillbox gaps. Team. Remember? Confrontation gentle. But Michael's shame flared. I feel broken. Alex held him. Never. Just human. The betrayal's echo resounded in September. A work trip to Portland for Alex. Unavoidable merger. Day trip, he swore. Michael nodded. But insomnia gripped. Theo hosted distraction. Movie night. Moonlight on loop. Tears and talks. Dawn brought Alex's call. Home safe. Love you. Relief. Partial. October's chill heralded crisis. Anonymous email to Michael's inbox. Photos. Alex and Jordan at a Portland bar. Arms slung. Timestamps from the day trip. Sender unknown. But intent clear. Sabotage. Heart fracturing. Michael forwarded to Alex, who called frantic. Fabricated. Deep fakes. Check the shadows. Verification via tech friend. AI generated. Jordan's firm hack, perhaps. But why? Jordan confessed via text to Alex, a jilted colleague's revenge. Using old pics. I'm sorry again, Jordan wrote. Block permanent. The scare unearthed rot. Michael spiraled. How many lies to believe? Group anchored. Patterns break with action. He demanded full transparency. Phone shares. Location always. Alex complied. But resentment brewed. Control or trust, he challenged in session. Michael, earned, not given. Healing's turn came in November. Anniversary shadowed by rain. They retreated to the cabin. Fire crackling. mulled wine steaming. No phones, just truths. Alex admitting fleeting fantasies. Not acted but confessed. "You're enough," he said. Michael shared fears of rejection, of loneliness. "But community hold me," vulnerability bridged. Night spent in talks till dawn. Bodies joining soft, reaffirming. Winter holidays tested. Joint family trip to Montana. Alex's roots. Snow-blanketed ranches. Siblings teasing. Michael's in-laws via video. Eve by the hearth. Alex proposed renewal, not marriage, but commitment ceremony. Vows to us. Flaws and all. Michael accepted. Tears freezing on cheeks. Spring burgeoned commitment. Ceremony planned. Intimate. Lakeside. Friends as witnesses. Rehearsals brought levity. Theo officiating with flair. Marcus toasting resilience. Book 2 advanced. Themes of forgiveness woven. But summer solstice unveiled the deepest wound. Alex's confession. Unprompted, a single slip in Portland, not Jordan, but a stranger at the bar. Drunk and desperate. One night. Regret immediate. World tilted. Michael fled to the center, collapsing in Marcus's office. Betrayed again. Rage. Grief tsunami. Ultimatum. Separation. Alex moved out to a sublet in Belltown. Solitude scorched, but growth flowered. Michael channeled into art. Exhibit of betrayal portraits. Raw and redemptive. Sales soared. Therapy deepened self-love. Alex pursued change. Inpatient program for addiction patterns. Emerging humbled. Letters arrived, apologies, growth accounts. Michael read. Heart softening. Fall harvest. Reconciliation tentative. Coffee first, then dinners. "I see you anew," Michael said. Alex, grateful. Winter's end. Ceremony by the lake. Dawn light, gilding vows. Through tests. We choose, but life's script twists eternal. The lakeside ceremony unfolded at dawn on the summer solstice. Crescents waters lapping a pebble shore as the first rays pierce the mist, gilding the gathered circle in gold. Michael stood barefoot in linen pants and a loose white shirt, breeze ruffling his hair, the pendant from last Christmas glinting at his throat, a talisman of you equals you, of truths claimed. Around them, a small constellation, Theo in a floral crown, officiating with theatrical poise, Marcus and Lena flanking. Eyes misty, a few group alumni bearing wildflowers and thermoses of coffee spiked with whiskey. No Alex yet, the absence a held breath. The ritual's crux. He had arrived at twilight the night prior, driving from the city in silence, the road winding like veins through evergreens. Months of separation had carved him hollow, then full, the exhibit's success. A solo trip to New York for a queer-lit panel where Audre Lorde's words echoed, "Your silence will not protect you," fueling panels of his own. Therapy had unearthed roots, childhood's conditional love, Spokane's whispers of other, HIV, once thief, became teacher, body a map of resilience, community a hearth. Alex emerged from the tree lean, then, path lit by solar lanterns, in simple chinos and a Henley, the gray one Michael loved. His face, lined deeper, eyes clearer, held trepidation and resolve. A duffel slung over shoulder. He had vanished into the program last fall. 30 days inpatient followed by outpatient circles, emerging with certificates and a sponsor named Ray, a grizzled veteran of recoveries. Letters had bridged the gap, raw admissions of shame, sketches of amends, volunteering at the center, sponsoring a newcomer. I'm learning to love without escape, one read. Michael had replied sparingly. Each were a step. Now, under the arbor of woven branches, Theo cleared throat. We gather not for perfection, but persistence. Michael, Alex, speak your truths. Michael first, voice steady as lake ripples. I release the betrayals, not forgotten, but fuel. I choose you. Alex, in hell's flux, love's labor. With my body as ally, not enemy, Alex stepped forward, hands trembling as he clasped Michael's. I honor the man you are, warrior, artist, heart I nearly lost. My slips were shadows, you were light. I vow transparency, growth, presence. Undetectable in body and soul. Rings exchanged, steel bands etched with intertwined roots, sealed with a kiss soft as mist. Cheers rippling like wind through leaves. Breakfast followed, pancakes griddled on a portable stove, berries bursting tart, stories swapped till sun climbed. Hikes ensued, paths familiar from healing sojourns, talks meandering from novel plots to program epiphanies. Ray says addiction's a symptom, Alex shared, pausing at a vista. Mine was fear of intimacy's depth. Michael nodded, hand in his. Mine too. But we're mapping new. Return to Seattle wove, normalcy tentative. Alex back in the apartment. Guest room first. Boundaries drawn like garden plots. Nights separate. Days shared. Morning runs along the Burke-Gilman. Evenings cooking from Michael's mom's recipes. Jerky swapped for stir-fries. Work synced. Alex's promotion ethical. Michael's sequel contracted. Group celebrated. Power couple alert, Theo quipped. Autumn painted the city russet. Harvest moons full as forgiveness. Challenges arose, a flare in Michael's counts. Managed with tweaks, Alex's trigger at a work party. A sponsor call averting slip. They navigated date nights intentional. Vulnerability jars filled with notes. Grateful for your laugh, proud of your strength. Thanksgiving anchored. Families merged via video. Then in person at Spokane. Snow-dusted pines framing the table. Michael's dad clapped Alex's back. Glad your family. Son, Montana followed. Ranch winds carrying toast to second acts. Winter's solstice mirrored the ceremony, firelit. Vows renewed casual. Novel 2 launched, Shadows and Shores, bestseller whispers. Tour to Chicago where old rumors died in applause. Alex joined. Hands steady. Spring bloomed unscarred. Pride plans. Gallery dreams. One evening, by the waterfront, Michael turned. Future, Alex smiled. Hours, dogs. Drafts. Dawns. Laughter sealed. Yet humanity's arc bends toward light through dark. Summer's heat wave tested. Alex's relapse scare, a drink downed in stress. Confessed immediate. Michael held space. Not judgment. Relapse isn't regression, Ray coached. They attended NA together. Bonds iron. Fall's equinox brought miracle. Adoption inquiry for a rescue lab. Tail wagging hope. Family, Michael whispered. Alex's arm around. As leaves fell golden. Michael's exhibit toured. portraits of queer endurance. HIV heroes unnamed. Opening night, Alex at side, your legacy, winter's end, a quiet diagnosis anniversary. Cake baked, meds toasted. Survive, Michael said. Alex, thriving. Life's tapestry, woven imperfect, gleamed human, love not flawless, but fierce. A Seattle rain that nourishes roots deep.